The boy had two mothers since he was little. One was his human mother, the other was his robot mother, and together with his father, the boy was cherished by all three of them. The happy days of this family of four were Suta's greatest joy, but happiness never lasts long. Suta's parents suddenly passed away one after another, leaving only the robot Marsha by his side. The story takes place in a city in the near future. The SAI Corporation launched an advanced robot model. They named it Giftia. Giftias had the most human-like traits, but their lifespan was only 9 years. Once they exceeded that limit, Giftias had to be retrieved. Otherwise, these expired Giftias would lose their sanity and might even attack humans. For that reason, a department called Terminal Service was created. Their job was to retrieve Giftias who were about to expire. One day after school, Suta came home. He suddenly found two people waiting for him, Tsukasa and Era. They were employees of Terminal Service. They had come to retrieve Marsha because her time was almost up. Everyone thought Suta would be heartbroken, but he instead said they should hurry and take Marsha away. He even reached for the retrieval contract to sign it himself. Tsukasa quickly stopped him, because in such an extreme and impulsive state, Tsukasa couldn't proceed with the retrieval. When Marsha saw Suta's rude behavior, she immediately began scolding him, but the very next second, Suta shouted at them in anger. He felt that everything was fake. At that moment, everyone realized, for a child not even 10 years old, having his three most beloved people leave him one after another, the pain was so great it made him doubt even his happiest memories. After Suta ran off, the retrieval work had to be put on hold. Tsukasa returned to the office and asked his colleague Michiru how to comfort Suta. Michiru said she fully understood Suta's reaction. He had lost his parents early, and now he had learned that Marsha, who had always been by his side, was also about to leave. That would naturally make him suspect that even his parents had been Giftias who were retrieved. Michiru believed the key to solving this problem was to help Suta believe that, whether it was Giftias or his human parents, they had all truly loved him deeply. These words opened Tsukasa's eyes. He immediately went with Isla to Suta's home. They began searching through old photo albums, hoping to find a way to ease Suta's doubts. By chance, Marsha saw a photo of Suta's birthday, and immediately realized that tomorrow was his birthday. She also mentioned that Suta's favorite food was the strawberry cake his mother used to make. At that moment, a piece of paper slipped out of the album. It was the recipe for the strawberry cake. Tsukasa instantly decided they should all make the cake together, as a surprise for Suta's birthday. Everyone quickly got to work. Michiru also came over to help. With her assistance, all the steps went smoothly. After an entire day of effort, everything was ready. When Suta came home from school, the house was completely empty. Though he said he didn't believe in memories and didn't need anyone's care, on his birthday the quiet, empty home still made him feel low. But the moment he opened the door, he was suddenly surrounded by everyone. They guided him to the seat of honor, but Suta said he didn't need a birthday celebration. Marsha thought he was just being shy, but Suta said he didn't need a birthday party full of lies, until the moment he saw that strawberry cake. Suddenly, his memories flooded back to long ago, playing with his father and Marsha, listening to his mother tell stories, the laughter they all shared as a family of four. The memories rushed through his entire mind. The photos on the wall reminded him that all of it had been real. The happiness of the past was never a lie. Tears mixed with strawberry cake as Suta swallowed them down. Crying, he apologized to Marsha, but Marsha told him, although his parents were already gone, and although she too would eventually be retrieved, those happy times they shared had already become a part of him. They had been woven into his life, and everyone would always be silently protecting him. At that moment, Suta couldn't hold back any longer. He threw himself into Marsha's arms and cried loudly. For the first time, he truly looked like a child grieving the pain of farewell. The three members of Terminal Service couldn't bear to interrupt. They decided to come back the next day to retrieve Marsha. The next day, a man knocked on Suta's door. He claimed to be a colleague of Tsukasa and Isla, and said they had asked him to complete Marsha's retrieval. Suta sensed something was wrong, and refused the man, but he didn't expect the man to wait outside. When Marsha returned home, the man pulled out a stun baton and shocked her unconscious, then took her away. Suta waited for a long time, but Marsha never came back. He immediately called Tsukasa and told him what had happened. Isla told Tsukasa that the man was most likely a black market retriever, and since Marsha only had 24 hours left, if her official retrieval wasn't completed on time, she could lose control, turning into a monster driven only by instinct. Tsukasa and Isla first calmed Suda down, then quickly notified their colleagues, and began searching every street and alley for Marsha's whereabouts. But from day to night, they still found no trace. Tsukasa had no choice but to join his colleagues and head toward an area where the black market might gather. But before they could enter, the military stopped them. They said there was a special situation inside, and no one was allowed in. Terminal service leader Kazuki asked for details and learned the military had also come because of black market activity. Everyone immediately realized Marsha was in that area. After negotiations, they were granted permission to take part in the operation to prevent Giftias from harming people if they lost control. Everyone was equipped with a software destruction gun. Any Giftia hit by this weapon would be infected with a virus, losing all functions and becoming nothing but scrap. Tsukasa could only pray in his heart that Marsha would not lose control. The team split up and began their search, but when they finally found the man, he had already been beaten half to death, and Marsha was nowhere to be seen. Everyone realized the worst had happened. Marsha had most likely lost control. Kazuki issued commands through remote communication. Her instructions were clear. If Marsha lost control, she had to be destroyed. Tsukasa couldn't accept giving up like that. He had promised Suda that he would bring Marsha back safely. He quickened his pace, determined to find Marsha before anyone else did. And then, Marsha suddenly collided with Isla. By then, Marsha had already lost her mind, completely consumed by her out-of-control state. Isla had no choice but to tell Tsukasa to step back, even though it broke her heart. She had to stop Marsha, but no one expected that Suda would arrive at the scene just then. Even without her memories and reason, Marsha still thought of Suda. She shoved Isla aside with all her strength, grabbed Suda, and fled for Suda's safety. Tsukasa and Isla had no choice but to chase after them. At last, on the rooftop of a building, they found Marsha and Suda, but Isla could no longer move. Tsukasa drew his gun and walked slowly toward Marsha, reminding her again and again of her memories with Suda, trying to calm her down. But the more beautiful the memories, the more painful they became for Marsha. The next moment, Marsha suddenly seized Suda. She had completely lost her reason. Tsukasa could only raise his gun and aim it at her. In the end, with tears streaming down his face, he fired at Marsha, and in that final moment, Marsha regained her senses. This story of love and farewell ultimately ended in the saddest way possible. All that was left was a little boy, clinging desperately to his precious memories. Marsha's figure vanished into the flow of time, leaving Suda holding onto his memories, unwilling to let go. The warmth of being cherished, the sweetness of strawberry cake, and Marsha's companionship had never been false illusions. Perhaps farewells are the constant of life, but as long as goodbyes are spoken from the heart, the love hidden in memory will always stay with Suda as he grows. And when he recalls these memories in the future, maybe the sadness will carry with it a trace of sweetness. Tsukasa and Eira first met in an elevator. At that time, Tsukasa had just entered the working world. Through an introduction, he had gotten a job at SAI Corporation, but on his very first day, he almost arrived late. As he rushed into the elevator, with just one glance, he fell for the girl standing in front of him. That girl was Eira, but since he was about to be late, Tsukasa had no choice but to hurry to the office to report in. Through his colleagues, Tsukasa finally understood the nature of his job. The company he worked for specialized in producing highly intelligent robots called Giftias, and Tsukasa's department's main job was to retrieve Giftias who had reached their time limit. Those retrieval missions were usually carried out by a human paired with a Giftia, working together as a team. Tsukasa never expected that his partner would be the girl he had met in the elevator era, nor did he expect that she herself was a Giftia. Soon, the two of them faced their first assignment. On the way there, Tsukasa was still excited about the new task, but Eira told him what they were really doing was destroying the memories others had built, and there would never be any reward. At the time, Tsukasa didn't understand Eira's words. They soon arrived at their assignment location. An elderly couple opened the door. The Giftia to be retrieved this time had been playing the role of their son in the family. The couple had no children of their own. Over the years, they had long since regarded this Giftia as their true son. Seeing their son about to be taken away, the two elders could no longer hold back their grief. At the moment of farewell, they clung tightly to the son who had been with them for 9 years. In those 9 years, they had truly become a family. their colleague Zach placed a special ring on the Giftia. Then, with the touch of a hand, the Giftia's memories were wiped clean in an instant. Only the elderly couple knew that all those warm times and precious memories had now vanished completely. It was then that Tsukasa truly understood his job and the meaning of Eira's earlier words. His heart felt heavy with sadness, but his colleagues thought the mission had gone smoothly. However, during their second assignment, Tsukasa ran into trouble. This time, they had to retrieve a Giftia named Nina. Her owner was an elderly woman named Chizu, but Chizu had already treated Nina as her own granddaughter, and she would never allow her to be retrieved, no matter how Tsukasa and Eira tried to persuade her. Chizu shut them out, yet only 5 days remained before the deadline. If they failed, the consequences would be dire. Faced with Chizu's merciless rejection, Eira's responses were clumsy. All she could do was keep bringing all sorts of sweets, but each time she was turned away, she would be left completely at a loss. Nothing like an experienced worker. As the deadline approached, Eira finally decided to climb over the wall into the yard. Tsukasa tried to stop her, but she slipped and fell heavily into the yard, right in front of Nina and Chizu. Chizu furiously told Eira to leave. Fortunately, Nina spoke up for her. Seeing how dirty Eira was, Nina told her to take a bath before going, and so, Eira stayed at Chizu's house to wash up. With no other choice, Tsukasa carried the sweets and reluctantly continued trying to persuade Chizu, but he really didn't know what to say, so he ended up talking about the company's latest promotional offers and suggested Chizu could replace Nina with a newer Giftia model. But those words only made Chizu even angrier. To her, Nina was not a Giftia or a product. She was her only family. If she lost her only family, she would lose the will to live as well. Those words left Tsukasa speechless. He realized what Chizu truly cared about was the time and memories she had shared with Nina. Those could never be replaced by another Giftia. Although Tsukasa understood Chizu's feelings, he was powerless to change them. Meanwhile, Eira was drying her hair with Nina's help. Nina knew very well that Eira had come to take her away, but she wasn't afraid. In Nina's heart, meeting her grandmother and sharing those 9 beautiful years together was already the most precious gift. She didn't want to lose control in front of her grandmother, endangering her. And she didn't want to make her grandmother sad again. Nina just wanted to smile as she said goodbye. But every word of this was overheard by Chizu outside the door. Hearing it all, the grandmother went to Tsukasa and asked him to prepare tea and sweets for 4. She wanted to say a proper farewell to her granddaughter. The tea and snacks were soon ready. The 4 of them sat quietly around the table, sipping tea together as their final goodbye. Under the setting sun, Nina put on the special ring. Chizu slowly stepped forward, her eyes filled with reluctance. Nina gently reminded her grandmother to always dry her hair after a bath, that her medicine was kept in the second drawer. As she spoke, Nina could no longer hold back her tears. There were still so many things left unsaid, too many things she didn't want to forget. But in life's journey, farewells are an unavoidable truth. In the final moment, Eira whispered something into Nina's ear, and suddenly, Nina's sorrowful face lit up with a look of peace. On the way back, Tsukasa finally understood the meaning of Eira's words. Tearing away someone's memories would eventually be erased, but the warmth left behind by love and companionship would never fade. May we all, like in this story, cherish every encounter and treat every farewell with sincerity, because not every parting gives us the chance to say goodbye properly, and not every warmth can be relived. But as long as we once protected our time together wholeheartedly, that warmth will remain like a light in our hearts, and in lonely times ahead, it will quietly shine on our path, giving us the courage to embrace the next beautiful encounter.